In yesterday's video, we went through the Sword and Shield era booster boxes and see where they are right now in the US market and the UK market compared to the two. And what we got from it is the fact is that a lot of it is actually slowing down and gaining price. Some of it is actually dropping in value. You know, across the board, we saw Lost Origin fall in value. We saw a few other sets drop in value. Still, some of them are going up, right? Astral Reigns is doing relatively well. Battle Styles is doing well. Brilliant Stars was cooling off. We also had Lost Origin cooling off. Evolving Skies has basically gone nowhere in the past like 3 months. It's pretty much stayed exactly the same price. And we saw sets like Fusion Strike fall as well. So today we'll be taking a look at the Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes and see what's been going on, because there have been climbers. You know, a lot of them are going up in price. Again, we're going to compare it to the UK market as well so we can get an idea of the two different ones. Okay, so we're looking at eBay as well for the UK market, TCG Player for the US market. A lot of the Scarlet and Violet era stuff is probably due a reprint. I mean, it is due a reprint. Whether or not it's going to get it is another thing. So I would probably take a lot of these with a pinch of salt. However, even if there is a reprint, it might not be that big. So that's one thing we have to take into consideration. It might not be a big reprint, and it might not really affect the prices that much. Let's jump in. All right, first off, we're looking at Scarlet and Violet base, the one that started it all in the Scarlet and Violet era, of course. This has always been a cheap box. It really has. You know, at one point it was like $70-something. It was crazy. It was just weird. I mean, you could have picked them up over here at one point in the UK for £75 a box. I'm not even kidding. So let's take a look now. $95. So it is approaching the $100 mark. So it has been going up. This has actually been a booster box over here in the UK, which we'll get to in a moment. There's been quite tricky to find. It's weird. I mean, nobody really wants to open up Scarlet and Violet base, as far as I know. You know, I have, what, maybe 1 or 2 boxes. I think I have 2 sealed. I'm not that interested in buying that many more. But because of how cheap it is, I might go up to 6. But that would be the absolute limit. But again, I'm still debating it. So we look back, the past 3 months is on the uptick. We go over the past year, and we can see that it's kind of bounced back, right? You know, it dropped to as low as $73 and then has gone back up to where it was pretty much a year ago. So this set is over a year old. You know, we're approaching maybe coming up to a year and a half, which is pretty crazy. Will this get reprinted? Probably not, if I'm being honest. I would be shocked if it is. I mean, if you're the Pokemon company, would I want to reprint this? Probably not. You know what I mean? I don't think many people would want it to see it get reprinted either, because it's still relatively cheap. You know, so it'll be interesting to see how this will grow. I don't think it's going to be that good, but I wouldn't personally buy it. Like I say, there's probably other sets that's pretty much the same price, which are better in my opinion. But yeah, it is on the uptick. Right, when we take a look over here in the UK, £80, £5 postage, so 85. We've got £80 here, best offer accepted. Another 85 with £6 postage, so 90. 95, 95, 80. That was Paradox Rift. So yeah, so anywhere between, I would say maybe 90 to £95 maybe. So under £100, I still think it's good. I just think there's probably better options out there, of course. But I still think it's, you know, it's moving, but ever so slightly. Now onto Paldea Evolve. This one is going up. $128, basically $130 for Paldea Evolved. When we look to the Sword and Shield era, obviously a lot of them are now above MSRP, above that retail price, with Battle Stars, you know, a little bit lagging behind. This set is due to have a reprint, right? And it's already $130. That's crazy. I'm hoping there is going to be a reprint. If a reprint does come later on in the year, I do expect this box to drop to $100, probably, give or take, maybe even less, which is, you know, a good price. I think 130. It's a weird one, right? Because you're like, well, if I do buy it and it gets a reprint, it's going to sting and it's going to be, you know, cheaper. But eventually we know the power of Paldea Evolve. We've already seen it. It will do very well in the long run. Or you don't buy it at 130, let's say, and then it doesn't get reprinted. Then you have a problem, right? Whereas if it did get reprinted and it drops to say 100, you could always buy more at 100, and then you can just wait. Regardless, you could just wait. It's, you know, so it's kind of like, you know, ifs and buts whether or not you would pick this up for $130, because over the past year, this set, over the past few months compared to over the past year, has done incredibly well. It's really weird. We look over here on the we look over here in the UK on eBay. It's a completely different story. So over here on eBay, we got £100, Paldea Evolved, 101, best offer accepted. We got another one here, 104. Where else we got? We got a case here, so 6 boxes for 550. So what's that? That's what, like 90 bucks, just over 90 bucks, as an example. So yeah, overall, Paldea Evolved, you got half boxes there. Case 580, 100. So over here in the UK, you're looking about £100. £100 a box on average for a Paldea Evolved booster box. I think that's a really good price. I think anything around £100 right now for any of the Scarlet and Violet era sets, especially something like Paldea Evolved, which we're already seeing over in the US go up, I think is a reasonably good price, even to crack open. But if you're going to buy it, now's a good time. I think even if we get a reprint, I mean, we've already seen restocks already of Paldea Evolved over here in the UK, and boxes are still just sat around 100. I think that's a pretty good price point. Next up, we have Obsidian Flames. Now, Obsidian Flames is an interesting one. It's arguably one of the weakest sets. I don't know if it's weaker than Scarlet and Violet base, but I think a lot of people have compared it to Darts Ablaze. I mean, when the set first came out, I thought the set could have been Darts Ablaze 2.0. You know, kind of weak, kind of poor Charizard set. And in all honesty, it is kind of looking that way. You know, you do have the big SIR Charizard. I say big, it's around, what, $45 or so. It's not the most expensive card. And then outside that Charizard, there really is like little to no value in this set, which is kind of rough, right? It is kind of rough. So we take a look at this, $105 right now for an Obsidian Flames booster box. It has kind of been pretty much level over the past 3 months. We go back 6 months, this hasn't been out massively. Maybe we could do a year. Could we do a year? Oh, okay, right. We could do a year, so that's good. So it was $115, it's probably like that pre-order price. And it's sat between $90 and $100 for the longest time. And recently, it's just been sat around the $100 mark. So it hasn't really been moving much. I do feel like this is one of the weakest sets in the Scarlet and Violet era. Again, same with Scarlet and Violet base. If you're going to be spending $100 roughly on a booster box, I personally wouldn't go for Obsidian Flames. I have one sealed in my collection. I'm not even looking at investing in it. But I think there are far greater sets and better sets in my opinion. I do feel like this is a Darts Ablaze 2.0. You know, I called it Darts Ablaze 2.0 and I was like, you know what? I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Let's give it some time. Gave it some time and it hasn't really performed. And, you know, the reception from this set is people just sick and tired of seeing Charizard, in all honesty. Over here in the UK, what's been going for? £100 a box here. We've got another box here for 108, so that one's a little bit more pricey. Let's see if we can find one here for 97. That's pretty decent there. So I think, again, we're probably looking around about £100, give or take, just under 100, just under 100. That one's from the US, that one's a bit random. 99, so yeah, £100 for an Obsidian Flames booster box. Again, I personally wouldn't really go crazy, maybe grab a couple here and there. Always good to diversify and grab a few little bits and bobs, but yeah, I wouldn't really go crazy on this one. Right, then we've got Paradox Rift. Paradox Rift has been doing really well recently. You know, $106 right now. This was one of the most cheapest booster boxes that you could have got just behind the Scarlet and Violet base. I rate Paradox Rift. I think there's some amazing SIRs in the set. Of course, you've got the Groudon, which is doing very well just for a normal illustration rare. It's very impressive. Roaring Moon, I'm Valiant. I rate it. I do. We started to see the difficulty in pull rates start coming into effect with Paradox Rift, and then as each set has gone on, it's been getting harder and harder and harder. Paradox Rift does have tougher pull rates than the sets previous, so that has an impact on, you know, the price of a lot of cards. So over the past 3 months, we can see that it was just been climbing, literally month by month, week by week. It has been doing very, very well, going from $94 now to $106. I don't think the set's been out a year yet, but we can see that it is bouncing back up. Not obviously up to its pre-order prices, which is around that, I mean, 110 to 115, but it is actually on the uptick. So we've got to keep an eye on Paradox Rift. Again, could get reprinted later on this year and, you know, beginning of next year. So you've got to keep that in mind. But I do still feel like this is a good set. You know, and again, it kind of like we talked about, like Paldea Evolved. Who cares about a reprint, right? You pay $106, a reprint comes, what's it going to drop to? 100? Maybe 95? You know, it doesn't really make a huge difference. And again, if it doesn't get reprinted, they just leave it as it is, because like, look, there's a lot of it out there still. You know, it's a reasonable price. We're just going to leave it as it is. Then what happens? We're just going to start seeing a, you know, Sword and Shield Era 2.0 happen. So, yeah, we just don't want to see that happen. So, yeah, you kind of, I say can't go wrong, but you're doing pretty well at 106. All right, over here in the UK, we have £100. We've got a multi-buy special, so there you go. What else we got here? We got £100 Paradox Rift. We got a 96 plus postage, so £100. 96. Yeah, pretty good. £100. So yeah, £100. So you look around £100 a box. Kind of makes sense. It's pretty much what we're looking at. You know what, dollars wise over in the US. Look, as I say, £100 Paradox Rift. I would prefer to buy this over Obsidian Flames or Skull and Violet Base. It's just a way better set. Alright, Temporal Forces is up next. This is actually one of the few sets which I'm going to go on a limb and say this is one of the best sets so far in the era. Whether or not it will be towards the end, we'll have to wait and see, because it's some insane craziness coming out over the next few months and into next year. But right now, I would say Temporal Forces is up there. We've seen the power of artwork, you know, of big fan favorite Pokemon. You have a ton of SIRs in this set. There's quite a few. The pull rates are tough, right? They're tougher than Paradox Rift. Not quite as tough as Twilight Masquerade, but still difficult. And also we've seen, you know, competitive cards come out of here. It's just a phenomenal artwork. You know, you've got the legendary beasts, which everyone's a huge fan favorite of, and they look epic. I mean, we've got Long Neck Boy. You've also got like a Gengar kind of SIR in the Morty's Conviction, and on top of that you have the Ghastly illustration rate. Like, there's just some good things going for this set, and we're looking at around $105 to $106 a box, so it's slightly more than some of the others. Not quite as much as what Paradox Rift is doing or Paldea Evolved, but still doing relatively well. Don't forget, this set is really relatively new. Don't forget, you know, it's crazy. It is new. So we're over the last 6 months. Bear in mind it came out this year. So it was around 106. It went up to around 115 for that pre-order, and then it did dip, but not really dipped below 100. It stayed at 100 at the lowest and stayed around 100 and then trickled up a little bit. So unlike the others we've seen dip below 90, it's doing relatively well. And I rate Temporal Forces. I genuinely think this will be a good one. Temporal Forces in time frame release windows, this is the equivalent of Battle Styles. The same numbered set as Battle Styles was back in the Sword and Shield era. If I had to compare this to Battle Styles, I would go with this one. I mean, I love Battle Styles. I do. I have a master set of it. It's one of my favorite ones because of the Tyranitar. But I can't deny Temporal Forces as well. I just think the artwork's better. There's more cards I like in this set than in Battle Styles. So I think this probably, if we have to say, will this perform better than Battle Styles in the future? Yeah, I kind of feel like it would. Now, over here in the UK, we got £90 or 95 including postage, £100 there. We got a 98, we got 105. 105. There's a half one there, and that one's from the US. So yeah, you look around about 95 to £100 a box. Like I say, really good price for Temporal Forces. I just think it's good. I do. You know, if someone said to me, Jace, would you rather buy? Here's a Temporal Forces booster box, or here is an Obsidian Flames booster box. I'm going for Temporal Forces, right? If someone said to me, you know, Jace, do you want to go for Skull and Violet Base, you know, or Temporal? I'll go with Temporal. If someone said to me Paradox Rift or Temporal, that would be quite tricky because I like both sets, but I probably still would go Temporal. That's going to be my choice so far, but I do think it's going to be a good one. And then finally today, we'll be taking a look at the most recent set, Twilight Masquerade. There's been a lot of chatter, let's say, with Twilight Masquerade over the past few weeks, maybe, since the set, well, basically since the set came out, right? People did not like this set. I look back through my comments and me talking about the set leading up to Twilight Masquerade. People like, trash, not interested, terrible, what's Pokemon doing? It is terrible, it's a poor set, not interested, right? And I would say that I agree, you know, to some extent. There isn't that many cards in the set that I personally like. I think I said there was like 3, which was the Greninja, the Eevee, and the Frostlass illustration rare. I didn't like the SIRs, the other SIRs in the set. You know, I'm not a fan of full art trainer cards being the big chase cards, so the Carmine for me, not interested. The Big Bear, not interested. The Ogre-Pons, not interested. Was it Flubber? Whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's even called. But that's not even interesting. But the Greninja. Everybody's talking about the Greninja. Of course, the Eevee as well. The beautiful Eevee. But it is the Greninja. Talk of the town is this card. It's doing bits, right? It is pushing $250 at the recording this video at the beginning of July. $250. This set came out, what, a month ago? It's crazy. This is giving me like Giratina vibes. You know what I mean? Giratina Lugia when it came out just absolutely skyrocketed. And we're seeing it, right? Booster boxes, 107. This set is like a month old, guys. A month old. We go back a month. And this set is, you know, sealed box wise, is cheap. You can find it everywhere. It's weird. You know, you have 2 cards that are holding over $100. You've got the Carmine, and then of course Greninja is like in a league of its own. But it's down to pull rates, right? Pull rates are a huge factor. And I say this with a lot of videos when we talk about a lot of sets that come out. Yeah, pre-release prices. I'm like, guys, we can't judge a set until we know the pull rate data. As soon as we know that the data, you know, represents tough pull rates, then we know that there's going to be big chase cards. And when there's big chase cards, the set overperforms. It just does. All the time. It's, you know, you look back at the Sword and Shield era, right? Pull rates. Toughest pull rates going. Chill and Rain, Fusion Strike, Golden Skies. Those 3 sets are known to be brutal. Right? Absolutely brutal. To try and get any of the chase cards. Right? Absolutely. I mean, Gengar, Moonbreon, Rayquaza, Blaziken. Very tough. Lost Origin, you know, other training gallery sets you could argue, but mainly those 3. There isn't a single set in the Sword and Shield era, I would say, where it has absolutely brutal pull rates that hasn't performed well. Right? Even if you look at, let's say, Vivid Voltage, right? Hasn't really gone up much. Has one big super duper chase card in the Pikachu, which isn't really that super in compared to like value wise compared to the others. Or it's like $100, $120. And it's been like that for a very long time. Even the booster boxes are what, 130, 140. So they've gone up from where they used to be at 100 or whatever. So they have gone up, but they've kind of stayed where they are. But you look at any of the other sets, they're on the uptick. They're rising. Even a not a great set like Battlestars with really tough pull rates is on the rise. The Twilight Masquerade, even though me personally, there isn't that many cards I like from the set, and because of the tough pull rates, I probably won't open it much. This set, sealed with the Greninja and some of the other big chase cards, is a force to be reckoned with. It really is. And I think we need to be more aware and a bit more careful when buying this product as well. Only because, you know, it's just come out. It's a month old. Just over a month. You know, Pokemon are coming out with these sets so thick and fast. And there's so many great sets that are coming. I do feel like the Greninja price, though, is a little bit, you could say manipulative. You could say the Greninja's price is a little bit sketchy, but still, just the rest of the set, incredible. Alright, so over in the UK, we're looking at about £100 a box, £10 off coupon. So there you go, you get £10 off there. What else we got? £100, free standard. 95, 105. So yeah, about £100 a box, I would say, on average, would be your safe bet. Like I said, the set has just recently come out. You can pretty much buy it from online retailers everywhere. Is this going to be a good one to invest in? Who knows? Who knows? I will be doing a video later on this week where I'll be going through the top investment picks for this month, July. I do feel like some of these that we've gone through today will be in that list. But yeah, I would say, like someone said to me, you know, would you want a Twilight Masquerade or would I want Paradox Rift or would I want Temporal Forces? It's tough. Probably Paradox or Temporal, just because Twilight Masquerade's been out a month. You know what I mean? But if someone said to me, do you want the Greninja? I'm like, yeah, come on, give it to me. It's like $250. This card's insane. I can play it to the Blaziken. People call me absolutely crazy. But, I mean, just look at the price. Yeah, and obviously, you know, a lot of people are like, yeah, but Jace, the Blaziken is like $400. Yeah, but the Blaziken's also like 3 years old. The Greninja is like a month and a half old. Now, of course, with reprints and stuff like that, I would expect it to drop in price. I expect the hype pump, whatever you want to call it, the Greninja to drop, of course. But it's still $250 right now. That's insane. So there you have it, guys. That is what's going on in the Scarlet and Violet era. Things are moving up. Things are looking pretty good for the Scarlet and Violet era right now. Boxes are relatively cheap. Pick them up while you can. £100, $100 a box. You can't go wrong. I do think there are some better than others. But things are doing very well in the Scarlet and Violet era. And I'm pretty happy. We've got a lot of insane sets that have been mentioned, leaked, shown, announced, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot coming, and we're only at the beginning, baby. If you made this far to the video and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button and make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the Scarlet and Violet era booster boxes right now. I think they're a gold mine. I do think they're very good. They're setting things up to be a really strong era. I know it sounds crazy. We never thought at the beginning with all of the doubters, the hate, saying that Scarlet and Violet's going to go to 0, it's trash, it's going to ruin Pokemon. Yeah, I kind of don't think that's going to be the case. But if you want to know what's going on with these Sword and Shield booster boxes, then make sure to click the video on the screen. And of course, if you want to watch more Pokemon content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Alright guys, that's it from me in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you guys are legends. And I'll see you in the next one.